Now I'm home. As Mike would say, I'm junk drunk.
Now Mike calling Frank in his touching tribute, a dreamer who was just as sensitive as he was funny.
No one saw this coming. Mike Wolfe, the beloved face of American pictures, is now a convicted murderer sentenced to life in prison for killing his former friend and co-star Frank Fritz. But why did he do it? Was it jealousy, greed, or something even darker? How did a simple treasure hunt turn into betrayal, crime, and a life behind bars? To know all about this, stay tuned till the end. It happened inside a packed courtroom in Davenport, Iowa. Frank's family sat quietly as the judge read the verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder. The room stayed silent until Wolfe lost control. "You don't understand! He was ruining everything I worked for!" he screamed. His face turned red as he grabbed an antique cane, evidence in the case, and swung it wildly. A bailiff got hit before officers tackled Wolfe to the floor. "It was my show! Mine!" he shouted as they held him down. People panicked. Some ran out while others froze in shock. Frank's sister, Diane, broke down in tears as security helped her out. No one could believe what they had just seen. Frank Fritz was found dead on September 30th, 2024, in his home in La Claire, Iowa. At first, no one thought it was a crime. Frank had a stroke in 2022 and never fully recovered. Reports said he died from stroke complications. Fans were heartbroken. They left flowers outside his house and posted kind messages online, and Wolfe shared a sad video, calling Frank his brother and selling special American Pickers items in his memory. The sales made over $1.2 million, but something didn't feel right. When the medical examiner checked Frank's body, she found something shocking. His blood had dangerous amounts of prescription drugs, way more than his doctor allowed. These weren't just pain pills, they were powerful sedatives and heart medicines in amounts that could stop a person's heart. Doctor knew something went wrong and told the police. Detectives started looking into Frank's death and found surprising clues. Security cameras showed Wolfe visiting Frank before just hours he died, and then Wolfe left the house quickly, looking nervous. A pharmacist also reported that Wolfe had tried to refill Frank's prescriptions, even though he wasn't allowed to. Money also played a role. Frank was planning to return to American Pickers, which meant Wolfe would have to share the spotlight again. But with Frank gone, Wolfe kept full control of the show and made huge money from Frank's tribute merchandise. The case against Wolfe was airtight. Detectives started with a simple question: who was with Frank Fritz when he died? Security cameras from Frank's neighborhood gave them their first big clue. Late at night on September 29, 2024, a black Ford F-150 registered to Wolfe pulled into Frank's driveway at exactly 11:47 p.m. 3 hours later, at 2:53 a.m., Wolfe dialed 911, claiming he had stopped by to check on Frank and found him unresponsive. When paramedics arrived at 3:06 a.m., it was too late. Frank was already gone. No pulse, no chances of saving him. At first, it seemed like a tragic but natural death. But then, investigators uncovered something chilling. In Frank's kitchen, they found a pill bottle, with Wolfe's fingerprints all over it. The pills inside? The same ones found in Frank's system. That wasn't all. Hidden in Wolfe's house behind a bookshelf in a locked safe, police discovered more bottles. No labels, but lab tests confirmed they were the same medications. Just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse for Wolfe, detectives searched his phone. What they found was damning. A text message from September 28 read, "We need to talk. I'm coming over tomorrow night. Don't tell anyone." Another message said, "You're not taking this from me." But the most disturbing discovery was in Wolfe's travel bag. A notebook filled with handwritten rants about Frank. One entry from September 10, 2024 stood out. "He think he can waltz back in and steal my show? I made Pickers, not him. He's dead weight now." A second entry dated September 25th, just days before Frank's death, was even worse. "The network keeps asking about him. I'll fix this my way." Faced with overwhelming evidence, Wolfe broke down. He admitted he had helped things along by giving Frank extra medication. Investigators had all: phone records, pharmacy logs, bank transfers. There was no escaping the truth. But what was the real reason behind this betrayal? To understand how everything fell apart, you have to go back to the early days of American Pickers. When the show premiered in 2010, Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz were the perfect duo. Mike was the confident dealmaker, while Frank had a quirky, down-to-earth charm that made him a fan favorite. Together, they traveled across the US, digging through barns and garages in search of antiques. The show became a massive hit, drawing millions of viewers every week. By 2015, it was one of the History Channel's biggest successes, with 5.3 million people tuning in per episode. But things didn't stay perfect forever. Frank struggled with health issues, and after suffering a stroke, he left the show in 2021. Mike moved forward without him, bringing in new co-hosts including his brother Robbie Wolfe. While American Pickers continued, it was clear that something was missing. Ratings dropped significantly, falling to just over 2 million viewers by 2023. Meanwhile, Frank wasn't done with the antique world. In early 2024, he started working on a comeback, telling friends he wanted to start his own show. Some said he was eyeing YouTube, while others believed he was negotiating with a competing network. When word got back to Mike, he wasn't just upset, he was furious. Money played a huge role in what happened next. Investigators later discovered that Mike had been secretly moving money into private accounts, creating businesses that controlled much of Pickers' profits. Even worse, he had quietly transferred $2.7 million worth of antiques, some belonging to Frank, into these hidden accounts, but the most shocking discovery was the $5 million life insurance policy Mike had taken out on Frank in 2023. The policy named Mike's own company as the sole beneficiary. Prosecutors argued that Mike saw Frank's return as a direct threat, one that could cost him both his fortune and his status as the star of the show. And they believed he was willing to do anything to stop that from happening.
A petition to get me back on the show. I could go either way and find a new show, have something new, and have just as much fun.
On September 29, 2024, Frank was found dead in his home. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident. Given his medical history, many assumed his health had finally caught up with him. But something about the situation felt off. The biggest red flag was Mike's 911 call. He told the operator he had just found Frank unresponsive, but his voice was strangely calm. Almost too calm. "I just stopped by and found him like this," he said. "I think he's gone." Toxicology reports later revealed something shocking. Frank had multiple medications in his system, including drugs that had been never prescribed to him. Police quickly focused on Mike, and when they searched his truck, they found a bottle of those same pills hidden in the glove compartment. But the most damning piece of evidence came from Mike's own Google searches. Just weeks before Frank's death, Mike had searched for things like, how much sedative does it take to kill someone? Can stroke medication hide poisoning? And how long does it take for someone to die in their sleep? Investigators had no doubt this wasn't an accident, it was murder. Mike Wolfe's trial began on February 10, 2025, and the entire country was watching. Prosecutors wasted no time laying out their case. They showed the jury everything. The suspicious insurance policy, the stolen antiques, the financial records, and most importantly, the chilling Google searches. They also played the 911 call, pointing out how emotionless Mike sounded. But what truly sealed Mike's fate were the witnesses. One of the most emotional moments of the trial came on day 12, when American Pickers shop manager Danielle Colby took the stand. Fighting back tears, she told the jury Mike wasn't the same after Frank left.